Hey there, welcome back. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Christy. I'm in northern Alberta, Canada, growing zone 2B. I grow food to preserve for the year for my family, or attempt to. And I also have a very small scale flower farm where I grow and supply to our local florists. And so today is a day where I am actually doing some planting. It's July 21st, which is kind of late for us in zone 2. We have a very early frost. Our nights here have been going down to plus 8 degrees Celsius. So my peppers are not doing very good, but I do want to show you what I'm doing today. Today I'm working on ripping out my ranunculus. Sorry, it's a little loud here. But today I'm working on ripping out my ranunculus, and I'm dividing the corms to store them for next season. And then I'm going to be planting in the space that I had, like direct sowing some seeds in that space that I have been growing my ranunculus in. And then just adding some different things into the garden for my fall succession of food preservation. So I'll just quickly show you what's going on. This will be a quick little vlog, but I wanted to keep track of it for myself and also maybe inspire you because maybe you didn't know you could do this. Anyways, let's get to work. So in this planter over here, I had my ranunculus, or one of my succession plantings of ranunculus, and this is what they look like. They were really pretty. I had some struggles this year with my ranunculus that were outside with pests. The ones in the greenhouse did okay, but the ones out here, we had some pest issues. So the good thing though is that I got a lot of corms out of it, and I'm going to show you how I lift my corms and how I basically divide them and store them. So I've already gotten a few out, as you can see. They're some of them are quite big and some of them are teeny weeny. So I'll just show you what I do. And I'm not a pro at this. I'm just showing you what I'm doing and what's working for me and my climate, because we are not really overly humid here. So okay, we'll get to work. So what I am doing is I'm reaching underneath the corm and trying to lift it rather than pull it from the top, because these corms have died back and they've put all the energy in, or the plant themselves has died back and put all the energy it can into storing energy into the corms or the roots of this plant. I don't want to pull it from the top because it'll just detach and it won't lift it out. So I like to lift it from the bottom, just very gently, not to damage the corm itself. And then I am, as you can see, I'm separating it. And there's a bit of a technique that I have discovered works really well for this. It's helpful to knock a lot of the dirt off so you can kind of get in there. But this one, it was divided 3 times. There was 3 corms. The one corm grew 3. So basically, I'll show you a better example up closer here in a minute. But I kind of pull off the excess roots, like the thin hair-like ones. And then I identify, okay, I can clearly see that there's 2 stems. So that means that there's 2 corms. And you can also see that the tentacle, I call them tentacle-looking things, they go in, they're not all drawn to the same center. There's 2 separate things. So I give it a wiggle and then it pops apart. The wiggle, it kind of is like a loose tooth wiggle. I don't know if you know what I mean by that, but that's what it reminds me of. It's like a loose tooth wiggle. It just has a little bit, you can feel a little bit of give because these are so stuck together. It takes a little bit of patience, and it took time. It took me a little bit of time to do this whole project, but it is worth it in the end, especially at $1 a piece per corm. Wholesale here is what we're paying. So this is definitely going to save me a lot of money. So yeah, see how these are, they definitely have a, you can tell there's, that's one because the little tentacles go in one direction, and then the other one, they go in a different direction. They aren't going all into one center, so that's a very clear indication that there's 2 separate corms here that have developed. So I'm giving it a wiggle, and then it starts to loosen, and then I can just pop it off once it has that initial wiggle. And see how large this is? That'll create a very large flower, or probably medium-sized flower. And then I'm doing the same thing, wiggle, wiggle, and there it is. It just comes off really nicely. And you can tell, like, it doesn't look like it's a corm. It doesn't look like it's uniform. So I give it another wiggle, and sure enough, there's another corm. And then lo and behold, there looked like there was something just a little bit more here, and you can see the tentacles are going in two different directions, and then there it is. There's another one. So this one had 5 or 6, I think. Was it 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 corms off of one corm that I planted. Well, I have this bed complete. I pulled all the corms out and separated them. I'll show you how many I have. There is a couple of them that they weren't quite dyed back yet, so the roots are pretty bright colored. Like this one here, I should have left it, but I need to use this bed up. So this is how much I got. You know, that's quite a few corms out of this area. So each one had at least 3 in the clump. So I have tripled the amount of corms I have, and that's pretty awesome. So this will be planted, these will be planted again in the spring. I'm going to add some amendments to the soil and some fresh dirt, and I'm going to plant some seeds. I guess I should put away the corms before I forget about them out here. So I will show you where I will be storing these. For now I'm just storing my corms up in my car garage. I do my flower processing and stuff like right outside this door, and that's where I keep my flowers, my cut flowers, before they go to the florist, before I'm sorting, when they're hydrating. So right now I'm just keeping my flower stuff here, and then once I get more organized, but they're gonna dry up there. We're not humid at all, so they will dry out, and then I will probably organize things a little bit better. I didn't cover them or anything because there's not much light in here. I should mention, this box is vented. There's little slits so the air can circulate through. This here is a humic concentrate that I'm adding to my soil. Basically, it's a really, really, really strong compost tea. I just top dressed my bed with some Pro Mix growing medium. It's what I have. I have to use up the stuff, so I'm just going to apply it. I'd rather put it into raised boxes than into the ground. It's a great soil for growing, and so that's what I did. I'm just going to do that, and then I'm going to add my solution on top. So in this bed, I think what I'm going to do today is plant greens, because we have such a short season, and because we have the risk of frost really early. I want to make sure I'm planting stuff that I can cover, that's a little bit cold hardy, that won't die out if there's a freeze. So stuff like brassicas or spinach, stuff like that. Or even Pak Choy or Pak Choy, that kind of stuff, lettuce, those kind of things. I have these hoops. So these are for, I grew my ranunculus under these early spring. I put them out a month before our last frost date, I believe it was, just about a month. And I double layered the fabric, and we went down to -8 degrees Celsius, and they were fine. Or we went down to -10, I think, one night, and I had another layer of protection, and they were fine. So these do work really well, and so I'm going to risk it by putting in a succession of food this late in the season. I know many of you in the warmer climates are able to start putting your crops in because you have cooler temperatures. We stay, like, our days right now are 25 above. Right now it's 19,
degrees Celsius, I think it was, but it's overcast. So as soon as the sun comes out, it warms up. But right now it's really windy and such, and tonight it'll probably cool down to plus 10 degrees Celsius. So our days are, you know, pretty average. They're kind of room temp kind of thing. And then our nighttime temperatures, they don't really get to, or stay very warm. They're quite cool. So I can grow this stuff now and start sowing it now, the cooler season stuff. There is always the potential of risk that it's not going to pan out and it's a waste of time, but the rewards are higher than the risk, so I'm just going to chance it. A person can grow a lot of food in a very small space and have multiple sowings, even up here in Zone 2 in northern Alberta. So I hope that it might inspire someone to think outside the box and, you know, just get a little bit more out of your growing season than maybe you potentially thought you had. So I have some varieties here of seeds. I could plant some carrots. I could plant peas, but I don't think I will. I think I'm gonna plant some romaine lettuce, because this also will do really, really well in cold temperatures. If it freezes, it doesn't matter. I don't have to pick it up and move it. It's okay. And it's gonna fit. I can fit more. I'm trying to think of, like, with the space that I have, how much can I fit per square foot that is going to give me the most production, the most food. The other thing is Pak Choy. We really love Pak Choy, and it grows, it's a 55 day. So like I had some in 30 days. I grew some inside in the house. I started some seeds this spring and I put them into the greenhouse, and within 30 days from transplant, we were harvesting and eating this. So it really grows very, very well here in our climate. I want to try growing it outside now that we don't have the pest pressure. So I'm going to try that. Yeah, anyway, we are going to plant some of this because I'm trying to get as many in as I can. I have some kohlrabi. This is also going to be useful. So if you have some of these seeds, then you're in a very short season. You could plant these right now today and possibly have a harvest. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start sowing some seeds here, and I hope it inspires you to enjoy, or it inspires you to grow more and try succession planting in your space. So let's get to it.
People often ask me how I sow certain types of seeds, and my recommendation is always follow the instructions on the seed packet. Sometimes seeds are pelleted and they may have a different instruction. I always follow the instructions on the seed package, and I just go with that. What happens if you don't have a seed packet, if you just have seeds that you saved, you might want to look it up for that specific variety, or if it's a romaine, look up romaine. If it is a leaf lettuce, look up leaf lettuce. Here I'm doing romaine, and I think it was about a 1/4 inch under the surface. Pak Choy is, I think, 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of this particular one that I sowed it, and that was as per the package. Don't quote me, I don't have it in front of me, I can't recall, but I did follow the instructions. And make sure to label. I always use a garden marker to label so that it does not fade, like a permanent marker will fade.
So I ended up planting it a little different than I was planning to, and that's okay. I think I'm gonna fill some pots with some soil and just kind of put one thing here or there, maybe like just fill one pot with just one type of vegetable, like beans. And I would like to try growing beans in a grow bag. Same reason, they might be set fruit, but maybe we get a frost, I could just pack the bags right into the greenhouse or into the car garage if I have to, or in the house. It wouldn't be the first time I've had vegetables in the house before. I had all the bells and whistles of modern farming or food preservation or food sustainability. So I'm just kind of see how it goes, and I'm banking on having a pretty good season. We had a really awful spring, so usually when we have a bad spring we have a good fall, but this year we'll see. Anyway, that's that. I hope that it inspires you. Basically, as this stuff germinates, I will thin it out to the strongest plant. I know it's hard to do, and it's sometimes a person has a hard time, but it's important to do it, especially at this time of the season, because if you don't thin them out, they aren't going to grow as fast. And in a short season like I'm in, it's important to get production immediately. So that is what I'm doing, and I am using old seeds, so I seeded quite heavy. It's not necessary to add so many seeds, but my germination rate has gone down a little bit with some of the seeds, because some of the seeds are like 8 years old. So I want to make sure that I have a good germination. Anyway, oh, one more thing before I let you go. Make sure you go through your seed collection and check if you have anything that says pelleted. If it has pelleted and it's not from this season, you might want to chuck it. I know seeds that are pelleted, I made the mistake of planting successions of pelleted seeds that I didn't realize were the previous year. For some reason, it was a blur for 2021 and 2020. I couldn't remember, you know, it was just all mixed up. I thought it was the same year that I bought certain seeds. I did successions and I had 0 germination, and I learned since then that pelleted seeds are often really not going to germinate for you after 1 year. So I've been going through all of my pelleted seeds, or finding all of my pelleted seeds in my collection of thousands of seeds, and I've been trying to plant anything that is pelleted. Even if it's just going to be chicken feed that I'm ripping out, it's not going to be a waste. It's important to make sure that you're not keeping stock that is not going to grow for you, and then have disappointment when you go to sow your seeds the following year and there's not it's not going to grow. So just double check and check that out for yourself, so you don't set yourself up for a disappointed outcome. I know it's not really exciting seeing seeds being planted, but there's so many people that are new to this, and I want to make people feel inspired that just because you live in a place that has a short growing season, whether it's because of the heat or if it's because of the cold, you have options. You have options. I have both frost protection and I have sun protection. This week we hit 25 degrees Celsius and higher. I think the one day it got to 30 degrees Celsius, and that's something that's not normal here for us. And you know, our plants that are in this climate, they do struggle. They really struggle. And so, you know, we struggle as people, the animals struggle. So, you know, I do have both. I mean, clearly you guys get a lot hotter. Some of you guys get a lot hotter than we do. And 25 or 30 above is laughable to many of you. But to us, that's dangerously hot. And so I do have those measures. I'm learning as we get these hotter days more frequent. Last year was ridiculous, and now this year we're getting a few of those high days, and I'm learning a whole new way of gardening in heat that I didn't have to know before. And many of you are learning a whole new way in gardening in cold that you didn't have to know before. So you know, it's just it's a flip-flop. We're being flipped and flopped here, and I hope that it inspires you to, you know, just try. I mean, you won't know if you're going to be successful unless you give it a go. And I mean, this space that I had, I could have just left it and not planted anything, but there's a potential that we're going to have some food for my family, even if it's one harvest. It's not sitting vacant, it's not sitting empty, and it's not harming me, it's not costing me any money. I already had the seeds. So why not? Just give it a go. Why not? What's it gonna hurt? So anyways, there's my inspiration for the day. Much love. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. As I was sitting here in the dirt wiping all the stuff off me, I realized there's a tomato blushing. Hello, gorgeous. This right here, people, is why Tyson doesn't take me out on dates. Check it out. This is a black calla lily. I cannot wait. I might actually put it inside so it doesn't get sun bleached, but that's okay. It's still gonna be pretty.
And don't forget to water it in. You need a shower. Really, you do?
Yeah.
Came down here all by yourself? How are you gonna get up the stairs, little one? You can't climb yet. Oh boy. Master going down, can't go up. Where's the other one? Huh? There's the other troublemaker. Hi, baby, you're so big. Good job. Baby, come on. Come on, you can do it. Come on, babies. There you go. Good, baby.